Well, howdy, howdy. Got another daily Devo. This one's going to be a one of the troubling verses that I've actually seen some people that have deconstructed their faith use this verse to show that the Bible is evil or something or God is evil. So we're gonna check this out. It's Psalm 137. And I actually have a video on here too that I want to show because they break it down pretty well. But we'll first just go through the psalm itself. Okay, this is called a imprecatory prayer. Which precatory? It's the wish. I guess imprecatory is to wish harm on. So it's one of those moments, and we probably all had these. Depending on how long you had faith in God, had those moments where you're just crying out to God and saying, why can't you just take this person out or, do something bad? And this is this moment in this psalm. They've been taken over by the Babylonians, and this is a prayer of redemption from the Babylonians, and not only redemption but slaughtering. It's like, and you'll see the last line of this is the highlighted verse. It's pretty brutal. Um, okay, so let's just get into it. So 137, by the waters of Babylon, there we sat down and wept. When we remembered Zion on the willows there, we hung up our lyres, for our captors required us songs. So they don't want to sing. They're putting up their guitars, like, we're not singing anymore. We're in a terrible state, and we're not going to sing for our captors, of course. uh, and our tormentors mirth, saying, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." And how shall we sing the Lord's song in a foreign land? If I forget you, O Israel, let my right hand forget its skill. They're praying. This is part of that praying negatively. He's like, I'd rather cut my hand off than than play these songs for these people. This is a state of just depth of sorrow and just tragedy. And I mean, if you haven't been there, you'll be there one day. Let my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth. If I do not remember you, if I do not set Jerusalem above my highest joy. Remember, O Lord, against the Edomites the day of Jerusalem, and how they said, lay it bare, down to its foundations. O daughter of Babylon, doomed to be destroyed, blessed shall he be who repays you. He's talking about God. God's going to repay him with what you have done to us. And here you go. Blessed shall he be who takes your little ones and dashes them against the rock. Pretty brutal, right? It's like we're okay with war, we're okay with battles, we're okay with men dying in battles, you know. And we all love the Braveheart movies and Platoon or um but when it comes to children, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to think about children dashing on the rocks, and even the recent Hamas attack on Israel. I guess not so recent now, but that was one of the highlighted things is what they did to the children. This is a terrible thing, and for you to go back and do the same seems evil too. So this is pretty rough, pretty rough. But I wanted to show you a good video, and I need two screens because I have to go back here and switch to where I'm presenting to. Share screen, share. All right, I'll play this a little bit sped up too.
Psalm 137, verse 9 mean when it says, "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks"? In this video, I'll answer that question from a biblical perspective. Then afterwards, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around to the end. Psalm 137, verse 9 is found in one of the imprecatory psalms, or precatory psalms, that speaks of violence against the enemies of God. That verse reads, "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks." To imprecate means to pray evil against, and the imprecatory prayers in the Bible strike people today as strange or wrong. It is important to understand the context of this verse and others like it. The background is the Jewish people calling upon God to exact revenge upon their military enemies. Psalm 137 is in the context of the Jewish exile in Babylon, where they had been taken as slaves after the Babylonians burned down the city of Jerusalem. The Jews in exile were then told to sing us one of the songs of Zion, Psalm chapter 137, verse 1, adding further humiliation and frustration to a defeated people. The psalmist recalls both the disgraces of the Edomites who looted Jerusalem and the Babylonians who destroyed their capital city. He comes to two conclusions to end the psalm. First, he says, "Happy is the one who repays you according to what you have done to us," Psalm chapter 137, verse 8. This cry for revenge desires the destruction of their enemies. Then in verse 9, the psalmist adds further detail to this cry for revenge, claiming, "Happy is the one who kills the infants of their enemy." The desire is graphically stated, but it is simply a call for the destruction of the entire nation, the nation that had enslaved the Jews, killed their babies, and destroyed their city. The destruction of Babylon was expressly foretold in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 16. And by referencing that prediction, the psalmist may mean to say that the men who were God's instruments in carrying out that prophecy would be happy in doing his will. If we keep in mind that the Psalms are songs that express intense emotions, a statement such as, "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks," should not shock us. The writer did not intend to go out and kill babies. Rather, he desired justice, which required the death of his enemies. Even today, those who have lost loved ones at the hands of others understandably desire the death of those who committed the crime. We must be careful to interpret Psalm 137 in its historical context and apply it appropriately in connection with the full counsel of Scripture. It is a normal human desire to see justice done and for enemies to be defeated. However, Romans chapter 12, verses 17 through 19 commands, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord.'" Psalm 137 is not a selfish prayer for personal revenge. It is a plea for God to intervene in the affairs of men, to keep his covenant and right all wrongs. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Visit gotquestions.org for more great content and to go to the details section below this video. There you'll find one book I recommend along with several links to related questions. If you'd like to learn about Bible Munch, or if you're interested in bite-sized devotionals, subscribe to Bible Munch on YouTube. It's linked right here. Now remember, got questions?
Okay. So, let's go back here and check out. All right, how do I do this again? Stop screen share, present, share screen. Go back here to the Biblia. All right. So, yeah. And he said this is not a call for dashing babies against rocks. And this is just a call for, judgment against them. I don't know. I mean, think about put yourself in the situation. That's what you got to do here. That's what I love about the Bible too, is it's honest. It's ugly. It's gross. It shows all the bad stuff. It shows, even though like went over David and he was, the greatest king ever, but he was terrible too. It shows those bad things. It shows the bad things with Moses. It shows the bad things with Abraham. It shows all these bad things of these guys. And that's important. It's important for us to learn, especially in this society, that we're not inherently good. That's pretty much the philosophy now is man is, human beings. We're inherently good. We're born good. We do everything good. And sometimes we screw up and you shouldn't blame them for that. And it's like, no, 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 that's not the message God's putting out here. It's like, you're inherently bad. It's a hard thing to hear, but we're not inherently good. It's like the first chance you get, you don't have to teach a baby how to steal, how to be selfish, how to, lie. I mean, it naturally comes about as they're growing up and they're little. They're going to do those things naturally. When they get in trouble, they're going to lie about it. They don't want to share their toys. They're going to get the cookie out of the cookie jar. Mom said no, It's we're not inherently good. I mean, that's what it is. That's why we need God. you know, it's a so I take it a little bit differently. I think this is exactly what it looks like. It is. I think this is. I mean, he's saying whoever this is that's writing this, he's saying, look, we're in prisons. We, I'm angry. I don't want to play my music anymore for God or for my captors. I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to do anything. I want vengeance. I want full vengeance. And we'll see in some of these other verses where this idea of dashing them against the rocks comes from. It's and like he said in that video, this did come from what these nations around them did because they were pagan nations. They didn't have a they didn't care for their own children. You know, they worship fertility gods and all that, where they have huge orgies and have children just just to put them on the altars and have them burned alive. I mean, this is literally what these other nations were doing, and even Israel did. Some of the kings of Israel, like Ahaz, he actually did the same kind of thing. Didn't turn out very well for him, but these are the kind of things these other, Baal and Moloch and uh, Shara or whatever her name is. I mean, these different demon gods. That's what they were requiring. So their view of life wasn't the same. Okay, so here in 2 Kings chapter 8, verse 12, and Hazael said, "Why does my Lord weep?" He answered, "Because I know the evil that you will do to the people of Israel. You will set on fire their fortresses, and you will kill their young men with the sword, and dash in pieces their little ones, and rip open their pregnant women." So here you go. All right, let's go to the next one. Hosea 10. Where's this at? Therefore, the tumult of war shall rise against among your people, and all your fortresses shall be destroyed, as Shalman destroyed Arbel on the day of battle. mothers, mothers were dashed in pieces with their children, and we saw this. I mean, we saw this on the news. We saw this in clips of recently of the burning of children and decapitation. I mean, this even goes on today with the neighboring tribes around Israel. This is the brutality that they know. I mean, it's just part of their culture. They don't have the same view of humanity and value of life that we do in the West, of course. Thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel, because of your great evil. At, at dawn, the king of Israel shall be utterly cut off. See, yeah, this is what was done to them. And again here in Nahum, verse 10, yes, yet she became an exile from Israel. She went into captivity. Her infants were dashed in pieces in the head of every street, at the head of every street. And her honored men lots were cast, and all her great men were bound in chains. Yeah. So I'm going to take the argument, even though he said he's not praying for going out and he's not wanting to go out there and do harm to babies. And at this moment, after seeing what they saw, the atrocities, the burning of their cities, the babies' heads cut off and put on the corner of every street, their women, pregnant women, slaughtered in the streets. I mean, yeah, I think any normal man would be crying out to God, saying, "I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever. I'll take them and pay them back tenfold." You know what I mean? Especially here in the West, we're not all about the eye for an eye here. We're about You hit me, I'm gonna make sure you never get back up. That's kind of our mentality. And to address that whole eye for an eye in the Bible, which seems kind of um, strange to us too. That eye for an eye was a meter. Was a It wasn't saying that if you cut out my eye, then I have to cut out your eye. That was not the law. The law was, if you cut out my eye, then I can take revenge or justice up to cutting out your eye. You understand that the difference between those two? It's not saying I have to do this. It's saying there should be an equality. You could go up to that length. Not saying you should. And depending on the circumstances, there may not be that level. Like, if you steal something, cut off your hand. That's like, it's kind of like imprisonment. When somebody goes on trial for murder, and you go through the trial, and the prosecutor is trying to go for the death penalty or life imprisonment, and depending on the case is brought before the judge or the jury, they can choose that up to that penalty. The penalty is up to death or up to life imprisonment. But depending on the circumstances, the culpability, the mental capacity, the intention, premeditation of it, there may be a shorter sentence, maybe a 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, 30 year, whatever. So it's just depends, and that's the beauty of that law too. Here in the Bible is it was it was setting that you can go up to, if you cut out my eye, I can go up to that length of cutting out your eye, but I can't go to the length of pure vengeance, which is going in and killing you because you cut out my eye, or killing you and your whole family, or something like that. You know, in your anger. So there was a limitation. So I think that's just important. I know it's kind of a sidetrack, but according to that law, this actually falls under that law, as we saw. This is what was done to them, and he's purely, I mean, still won't sound very good, but he's purely asking for the Lord to do the same to them as what they did to them. Eye for an eye kind of thing. Go up to this level, Lord. I'm pleading. I am the prosecutor, and I'm pleading with you as the judge, to make the ruling that they get the same that they did to us. So, anyways, we will check y'all tomorrow. We'll probably do another one of these troubling verses tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. So, all right. Y'all have a good one.